Please first welcome to the stage Mr. Scott Anderson, the CEO of Zions Bank.
Well, last Monday, we celebrated the birthday of Martin Luther King. And I think it was about 55 years ago that he gave his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. And this was a speech about jobs and the economy. It was a speech of how we needed to share the prosperity of this country with everyone. And it was a speech of providing equal opportunity to all Americans to achieve the American dream. And today, 55 years later, we are still dreaming of jobs and prosperity and the good life. And I can tell you our governor continues to dream of jobs and prosperity and the good life. And his goal is simple: to maintain Utah's leadership as the nation's premier economy through innovation, technology, and investment. And that's why it's so exciting to see this group here, because you are leading the charge in this area. And so the question is how are we doing in achieving this dream? Business optimism is rising in Utah. Upward mobility is a reality in Utah. And the American dream does happen here in Utah. And you are all examples of that. We have seen economic growth expand opportunity, increase wealth, and improve our life, our standard of living. We've seen our economic growth improve our neighborhoods, strengthen our communities, and lift everyone in this state. But the ability to continue with this is based on what you will do, on the expertise and the innovation and the knowledge of you in this room. So I'm counting on you to ensure that our growth strengthens and continues. I'm counting on you to ensure that our growth is sustained. I'm counting on you to ensure that our growth is inclusive. And I'm counting on you to ensure that the benefits of our growth are equally shared with all Utahns, both on and off the Wasatch Front. Tom Donahue has said, "Growth doesn't happen without people. The men and women who provide the energy, the ingenuity, and the ideas that make our economy prosper." So to ensure that our economy continues to grow, to strengthen this growth and to sustain it, we must first and foremost focus on our people. We need to ensure that we have a trained workforce. We need to ensure that we have jobs for our people, and we need to ensure that we have enough people for our jobs. We must embrace technology as the growth driver and the game changer that it is. Technology will continue to be the major driver to grow our economy and strengthen our growth and to sustain it. And it will better everyone and benefit everyone if we do it smartly and carefully. I think that as we look at this, we need to also ensure that that creative entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in America. And I think it's interesting, if you read the New York Times article that reported the Kauffman report that said that the number of young people going and becoming entrepreneurs and starting a business has declined significantly over the last decade. Coincidentally, it has declined as the amount of student debt has increased from $500 million a decade ago to $1.3 trillion today. And we can just not let that happen. We can't let our country lose its entrepreneurial spirit and advantage. And we have to ensure that here in Utah, we do all we can to encourage it. And so again, I'm relying on you. I'm relying on Silicon Slopes to ensure that we compete it. And I think if you look at what's happening in Utah in the past, you have to say we've had a rich history, but we have to ensure that this history goes forward and that you continue in this tradition Just think of some of the things that have been invented and commercialized and built here in Utah. The electric guitar was built and invented here. The hearing aid was invented here. Television was invented here. The car stereo was invented here. The DVD was invented here. And the inventor received a special Oscar for this. Kentucky Fried Chicken opened its first restaurant in Utah. And Utah has the distinction of having discovered and created the original fry sauce in this country. But the video game, the entire video game industry was given birth here by Nolan Bushnell, who spent his summers working at Lagoon. And he introduced the video game to America with his game Pong. And then you look at the electric traffic light. It was invented here in Salt Lake City by police officer Lester Wyatt. And the first electric traffic light was placed on our streets on Main Street here. The world's first word processor was developed by Alan Ashton. The artificial heart was developed here. And for hockey fans and ice skaters, the Zamboni, that slow-moving ice polishing machine, was invented here by Frank Zamboni in Eureka. Jonathan Kuhn, while a student at BYU, pioneered ordering contact lenses over the telephone. The Frisbee was invented here in Utah just before or just after World War II. And Josh James sold his wedding gifts to fund Omniture, which he then grew to $1 billion business. And Todd Peterson organized college students to sell home alarm systems around the country and grew that into a major industry. So we have a rich history here that we need to continue. And again, I'm counting on you to continue it. But it's great that we have a governor that understands business, that we have a governor that knows how to run businesses, that we have a governor that ensures that our policies and our procedures encourage creativity, encourage business startups, and encourage investment in our great state. So I hope that all of you appreciate what the governor's doing, appreciate his policies and his procedures, and that are making our growth and the development of our tech industry possible. Governor Herbert has ensured that Utah maintains and fosters the status of being one of the best places in the country for business. And through his support of USTAR and the Fund of Funds, new research is now being financed, and businesses have the funds to be organized, and new industries are being created. And all of this means new and better jobs for Utahns. The governor continues to encourage entrepreneurs to create new products and grow their businesses here in Utah, which in turn provides prosperity and economic vitality for this state. So it's my pleasure to introduce our governor, a governor who understands business, as I said, a believer in what dreamers can do, a convener, a connector, and a partner across industries, a governor who is bringing the future to Utah, and a governor who is ensuring that Utah will have a future, a governor who is enriching our communities, our state, and in fact the world with things that are coming out of Utah, and a governor who is champion of innovation. So please join me now in welcoming our governor, Governor Gary Herbert.